want to make sure everybody understands this. This mastermind session is going to be recorded, and we look forward to having everyone here this evening. And Debbie Gentry is going to teach us about Nextdoor and how to mine Nextdoor and find your buyers and sellers using Nextdoor. So it's all yours, Debbie.
So put in the chat, have you used Nextdoor? Are you a lead in Nextdoor? If you don't have a clue what I mean, that's fine. That means you're not a lead. But are you a lead and have you used Nextdoor? Valerie says yes, you're in Nextdoor, but not a lead, correct?
I've been part of Nextdoor since its inception.
Okay. Are you a lead?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Have I used it that much? No, just in the last year. And then just oddly enough, last week I took out an ad, but I'm not quite sure how it's working or how to trace it or anything. So I thought maybe I could get help with that.
Okay. Yep, we'll talk about it. Anybody
Okay.
else? So let's talk about what Nextdoor is, what Nextdoor isn't. So the whole purpose of Nextdoor originally was that you would have a small subdivision. And when I say small, I'm talking 1,000 homes, that everybody in that subdivision would be in a Nextdoor. And it may be called, you know, Del Webb, whatever. That's your subdivision name. That was the purpose of Nextdoor. So everybody in your neighborhood could be on pretty much a private network, if they kept it that way, to say, we lost our dog and he's, you know, brown in color and blah, blah, blah. Or do you know a good handyman? Or do you know this? Or do you know that? It's supposed to be a helping tool for the neighborhood. It's also supposed to be a security tool for the neighborhood, where if somebody's prowling around, you could report that in your neighborhood. Well, it has morphed in time. I've been doing it 10 plus years at this point. I created a village called Sunset Point that I have created. In the villages, we have lots of villages, and so it's like a small subdivision is what Village of Sunset Point would be. So what I tell you is you have to be very careful as a realtor to not get yourself kicked off and kicked off permanently. So I have gotten leads. I have used it very much. I'm not addicted to it, but I am a lead, and I'll show you what some of the lead stuff behind the scenes looks like. Because if you don't have a Nextdoor in your neighborhood, wherever your neighborhood is, get it started. That's how you get to know people. So does anybody know, do you have a Nextdoor for your specific neighborhood where you live? Say yes or no.
Yes.
So that's the first step, is to make sure you're on Nextdoor, register with an email that you can handle what I'll call spam, because you get lots of notifications if you want them in Nextdoor. So if you don't have it set up, go to nextdoor.com, put in your email, set up an account, and they may have to mail you a postcard because it is GPS based. It does verify that you are where you're supposed to be when you want to be in that group. So you can't decide to join the fancy neighborhood 5 miles from you. That's not what it's meant to be. You're supposed to be in your neighborhood. So does that all make sense so far?
Yes, ours
Yes,
kind of looks
no.
different than that, Debbie.
So
Ours has our neighborhood on it, but everybody else is in it. All the other
well,
neighborhoods around us.
that's why I said if you want to keep it private, that's the whole thing. So Nextdoor does have a paid side to real estate. Good or bad, it has a paid side. That's why as realtors, you can't go and put your listing on there. You can't say, I'm the best realtor in your neighborhood. You can't, I've seen some people on Facebook, or not Facebook, Workplace, a couple years ago, creating some squeeze pages, landing pages, and putting it out on Nextdoor. If you want to get kicked off of Nextdoor, it's the fastest way to do it, because advertising is highly not allowed. But there's a way to do it organically, and that's what I've been doing. So I will pop over here. Let me share my screen. So let me see, where's it at? There it is. Let me get rid of your pretty faces, that way you're out of the way for me. So can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so over on the right, and I will tell you 95% of the time when I use Nextdoor, I am on my phone. It's just faster, easier for me, but you can use it on your laptop, you can use it on a tablet or your phone. You will see my neighborhood right here, Village of Sunset Point, 942 neighbors I've brought in. That's 70% of 926 households. Well, they've started allowing that husband and wife can have separate accounts. That's why I have 942 and only 926 households. So some of those are husband and wife or partners or whatever they are. But I only have 70% of the houses that I have invited to join Nextdoor. So show you real quick the lead tools if you decide to be a lead. If you don't like a lot of what I call politics, don't join, don't be a lead, because there's a lot of politics. Reported content, I've got one that I need to look at here, and we'll see what it's all about if it pops up. And it, Pat, liberal, are you kidding? Reported as uncivil, unkind. You cannot put down any member on Nextdoor. So you could call every politician you want, any name you want, as long as it's in a group in Nextdoor, but you cannot start using Pat, liberal, are you kidding? If I scroll up, you'll see this is a post to recommendations anyone, and it's about a restaurant locally. And it's turned political, obviously. Obviously, that's going away. I hit remove, I hit submit my vote, and I'm done. And so that's all there is to the leads. But the reason that I say if you don't like politics, don't get involved with the leads, because a lot of people don't want to vote the way they want to vote or are supposed to vote when it's in their neighborhood, because they think it's good in their neighborhood, but other neighborhoods it's not. So let's get to how can you organically go and target and get business off of Nextdoor. So free island countertop, rainy days, good things. We have 3 movie theaters. Unfortunately, they're not open. You know, what can we do? Well, people want to know who's a good this, who's a good that. So the way that I use Nextdoor is I am their encyclopedia of who is good, who's not. I give them ideas. Yeah, our movie theaters aren't open, but you could do blah, blah, blah. Go give them another idea. Stop complaining about the movie theaters not being open. Here's another idea. Be a resource to help people understand. Anybody else having a horrible time with Verizon? Early morning missing persons. This is what Nextdoor's for, is security alerts. Yes, there was a missing persons near us. But you want to on Nextdoor be that resource that they say, Debbie, how do you know all this? Now, here's what's happening in our area, because every realtor has tried to be the paid resource for real estate, which in our neighborhood, when Donald and I did it, we did it separately, pretty much at the same time. It was $300 and some a month. Every area is different, how much they charge for it or not. Guess what? Here's Seymour Homes for Sale, 3 homes, but looks who's sponsoring it. A roofing company. That's because they've ran out of realtors that wants to waste their money advertising on Nextdoor because it hasn't paid off here. So now a Batterby Roofing is paying to be a sponsor of Nextdoor as a roofer, and they're showing the for sale homes. To me, that's crazy. Why would Batterby care about homes for sale? So,
They're trying to be a resource.
and that is, obviously their name is there. If we click see more homes for sale, our biggest problem that we had here is it wasn't just our neighborhood. So I haven't looked at it lately to see if it's solved or not. But yes, it's looking like most of it is villages as I scroll through here on the right-hand side. Here's one that's not. It's outside the villages. But the majority of them are. So that's an improvement. Here's where my neighborhood is. And here's that $1.1 million house that they were showing for sale. So if I look through here, I probably could still find some realtors that are sponsoring, but right now, Batterby Roofing has the homes for sale. I don't know what yours looks like. Yours will be different based on your area. So under businesses, let me show you my profile. Get that out of the way. And if we go here, it's not going to show me here. If we can look up here though, and you will see that I have 2 profiles, Debbie Gentry. Can you see that? And Debbie Gentry EXP. Everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
You can go in and be a business. So under businesses here, you can create your business after you have your own profile. Let's switch over there. If I put in real estate, let's see who we get tonight. Whittingham, Sally Love, Black Tie, Flamingos, Sally Love. And none of these have been sponsored people along the way. And if you keep looking, it just goes on and on and on because we're all out there. But you can create your own profile after you create your normal profile. And in your profile, you want to say, hey, I'm the best realtor for your neighborhood. I live in XYZ community, lived here this long. You know, I know how to sell your neighborhood. And I always tell people in your profiles, tell where you used to live. You know, I used to live in Indiana. People like to work with people that they connect with. So you want to put those kind of connections. So I don't even see me showing up. I'm not using this in that regard. If I bring up the EXP profile, see, I can update to sponsor a zip code. I'm not even going to ask how much it is because it was 300 and change before. So I don't want them to think I'm interested. But you want to create a business profile plus your other profile. But what Nextdoor to me is good for is becoming the neighborhood expert. And you could be the one to help. Somebody wants a handyman, somebody needs a dog sitter, somebody needs a, where's the best Chinese restaurant, where's the best whatever. Be the one to answer the questions. And people will say, well, how in the world did you become the most knowledgeable person here? And those are the type of things that you want to do on Nextdoor. People say, well, I want to advertise on there. Well, you can't. Not unless you pay can you advertise on Nextdoor. I'm going to try to switch back to my regular profile. So that way we can get back. So I don't know, trying to think how I can explain it any better. But if I go under real estate here, people, when Donald and I did it, we didn't get any leads from it. I looked on the workplace and there was other people that have paid to be sponsors on Nextdoor and they haven't done it. I have gotten several leads and closings off of it because I'm knowledgeable, I'm helpful. So that's what you want to do with Nextdoor. What else, Donald?
Yeah, I mean, the key thing behind Nextdoor is, as Debbie was saying, it's becoming the neighborhood expert. And that's people reach out. I mean, I see it all the time because I'm in the right next door to where Debbie is. Sometimes we have some overlap. And what's interesting is I'll see often, I was a lead at one time and I just gave it up. I couldn't be bothered with the politics and the nonsense and things like that. But I wasn't as persistent as Debbie as it comes to answering the questions and all those sorts of things. I do that more in workplace and Facebook and stuff like that. Nextdoor is really good to, as I said, to become the expert in your community. And that's how you get in people's heads. That's how you get to be recognized and known. I'll go out and people will say, I know you from Facebook. I see you all the time on Facebook. Things like that. Well, Nextdoor works the same way. And the nice thing about Nextdoor is it's so centrally focused to where you live. There's some questions in the chat. The reason why they ask you for your address is so that they know where to locate you, where to put you on the map. And then it gives you your neighborhood so that it knows where to put you. Can you put other locations? Sure, but you start playing around with your address too much, they're going to shut you down. Because the intent of it is that you're centrally located in that community. So that's why they require an address.
Is that your home address or your business address?
It could be
Home address. No, it has to be home.
Okay.
It has to be home. So if they find out that you took your laptop and set up outside the fancy neighborhood to be able to create a Nextdoor account and you don't actually live there, that's where you can get kicked off temporarily or permanently.
Yeah.
Well, I just wondered if you set up a business, if you clicked on business and set up a business profile and your business address was 4 cities away.
Right.
Then you don't look like you live in that neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a thing that people are looking at your personal profile, just like Facebook.
Okay.
People don't use the business profile on Facebook much. They don't use it much on here. they will look at my business or my personal profile. So my personal profile, if I bring it up, let's see, there it is. Pretty much, I'm a realtor. I sell in the Villages, Florida, known as the real estate expert selling in the Villages, blah, blah, blah. If you want your house just sold, blah, blah. Hometown, Huntingburg, Indiana. I want people to know, where did I come from? Put your website, put your phone number, put your email if you really want it. I don't want my email showing because I get enough spam. I don't need the robots out there collecting emails. So you can private message through Nextdoor. Up here, you see the bubble, and I'm not going to bring it up because I do have some private messages with people that's reported people here. But they can private message me. And that's how people either pick up my phone number here, or they, private message me and say, it seems like you know what you're doing. I want you to come over and list my house. Or my cousin's coming in, I want you to show them the house. That routine. But this is my profile. So.
Go ahead, Valerie, you got a question?
Yeah, when I first started my neighborhood on Nextdoor, it was really just, I'm in Silver Lake. It was really just Silver Lake. That's all I ever saw. I didn't use it for a while because it was new and, just wasn't much happening. So when I jumped back on it a couple years ago, when I go to my homepage, I'm seeing posts and getting things from people all over, from Orlando, from Mount Dora. I mean, what happened?
So right here is a perfect example, and I've tried to tell people this.
Mm-hmm.
You see, posted in general to anyone.
Oh, okay.
Anyone doesn't mean anyone in the Villages. Anyone doesn't mean Silver Lake. Anyone means anyone.
Okay.
So if I look at my notifications today, I will tell you that I have notifications from other places because I want mine broader that otherwise. So if I look at this top digest here, what kind of snake is this that crawled into the lanai? Well, that's not my category. I don't handle that. Sorry. I don't know that. But, here's Home Depot advertising a worn out flag. Believe it or not, I don't see any here that is from outside the area. But that is the problem, that people started thinking, well, anyone is anyone in the neighborhood. Anyone is everywhere.
Okay.
And that is extremely dangerous if you're selling someplace. Now, Debbie Smith did it properly. She posted in general to 49 neighborhoods. If I click the 49 neighborhoods, see, she clustered it and she did what she was supposed to do. She didn't do anyone. But if you post something in the for sale section, which they call fines now, which I think is a dumb category for a classified section. Fines, okay. And that's what Susan, she's another lead that helps a lot. She's saying, who's selling the nest suppressed pods? I can't find a thread or contact info. Susan saying, go into the for sale and free, which is fines. But it can't be posted in the general section, so it's probably removed. So it's the thing that if you put it in fines and you say general to anyone, that is how the scammers but private message and say, my driver's going to come over and pick up that chair you have for sale. I'm going to send you a cashier's check, and it's for a little bit more, so just return the rest to my driver.
Oh, Craigslist got into Nextdoor.
Yes, it did. And it's all because of this category right here.
Okay.
If you're posting and you want your neighborhood to see it, I have a choice of where do I want my posts to go to. And Notifications, neighborhoods, here it is. I have almost everything turned on. That's the villages. And I know that doesn't make sense, but these are all individual villages here. So I've got a lot of them. I don't have all of them, but I don't have those other areas turned on because number one, I don't have time to worry about what somebody else is doing. And they should have their own leads over there that is actually taking care of their neighborhood. But that's why when Valerie said she's seeing junk from everywhere, it's because of people like this doing it to anyone.
Okay.
So Debbie, I have a question. One of the things you were relating to, and something that I think as real estate agents we can all agree on, is how we can relate to our neighbors. And you're saying be that person that has the information, that has the, you know, the go-to people, the resources. Do you see people maybe writing blogs or articles about senior living? Maybe not necessarily real estate bound, but like maybe something that's an article that's about, like, I don't know, home ownership, just random like thoughts or random conversations or something to get that senior something niche to kind of get talking. Or are there certain ramifications that you have to follow on Nextdoor that we can't do? Does that make sense?
It makes sense. If you try to do it, depending on your lead, they'll probably shut you down because they know where you're going with it. So a perfect example that I got a lot of hits on just this past couple of weeks, we're getting a new BJ's. We don't have a BJ's wholesale club anywhere near us at this point. Closest one's an hour plus down the road. So I announced, hey, by the way, did you know BJ's coming? The trailer is open. You can get your membership for $25. Go over there. That's half price of regular price. They're opening in April. And there was so many comments about it and so many private comments about, well, I saw it on Facebook. Is it the same? And I said, sure, it's the same, except now you got to stand in line at the store. And they said, oh, I didn't think about that. And so it's just the resource. You'll never see what I'll call stories on here. It's not like a Facebook that you connect and you put long-winded stories out here. So no, I don't think that would happen. Here's one of our politics groups. Preschool stages Black Lives Matter. And she put a link in here. She's only got six comments.
I think what I was more or less thinking, like, hey, did you know that there's these free senior resources in our community? And you put together like 2 or 3 things that they can do that's there that month. I don't know. I mean, it's just something, like kind of be a, I don't know, a go-to source. Or so there's 211, which is a national number that's out there, maybe just posting something about it, and you're just like putting different senior resources out there. Then you become that senior person in your neighborhood. I'm just trying to figure how we as agents are able to post something rather than just answering. I'm just trying to get around it.
No, that's the way to do it.
Right. So Heather, the other day when you had CapTel, you can get discounted phone. Most people don't have a clue about that. That's the perfect thing. Hey, I just ran across something. Did you know that you can get blah, blah, blah if you're, low income? Here's the link to check it out. You know what I'm talking about.
And I think that's something that a lot of agents, I know we keep talking about this, that connection is really big in the senior market. We know they have the most home ownership. We know that they own their homes outright financially. I mean, when you look at that's staggering, and it's only climbing. So if there's a way that you can gain a friendship out of it, I'm just trying to see how you can also become an expert other than answering. And then maybe putting a post or
Right.
engaging.
Yeah, it's like Lending Tree is here sponsored. When they put something like this and they're advertising 2.03, there will be a post that comes out shortly after this. Wow, I see interest rates are at 2.03. Well, number one, it's 15-year loan. They didn't notice that. And so then you put in, yeah, the current rates for a 30-year loan is, or whatever. It's just, yes, you be the information source, just don't advertise, hey, have an open house this weekend, can't do it. Here's my new listing, can't do it. You just cannot advertise.
But I'm just thinking of like, if you can just put in little senior snippets of things. Statistics, like, hey, did you know the senior market, is like the fastest growing? Did anybody know, and then do a poll. Does anybody know how many, people that are 65 own in this area? 70%, 80%, 100%? I don't know. I'm just asking if they do stuff like that.
Well, but now you're treading on real estate because the paid.
Okay, maybe not home ownership, maybe demographics for that area.
Right.
Not necessarily. I don't know. I'm just saying,
I know.
You engage that senior.
Trust me, Heather, if you get involved, you will be engaged with them more than you ever wanted to be. I have become a go-to for almost everything and anything over the years. Real estate, they can actually do a blog once a month when they are paid. I haven't seen anybody do it here. That wasn't there when I was a paid member for the real estate. But they are still limited. They can't put all their stuff out there either. So Nextdoor, I'll call it not the friendliest place to be for breaking the rules, because they don't give you a chance to say, I'm sorry. If you break the rules, you may be kicked off 2-3 days, a week, month, forever, just depending on what you break the rules. So tread lightly, but you will, if you start working your neighborhood, if you're the lead, see how much you've got. I can go in here and I can invite more people to my neighborhood. They send out the letters for me free of charge. And I do that about once a month to try to get more than my 70%. But it's the thing, that's the way that I do it, to be able to do organic helpfulness and visibility. And the visibility is huge. So, what other questions are out there?
I'm really liking that carburetor on the golf cart there. Just kidding.
I'm not watching the chat, so if anybody sees anything.
There's nothing here in the chat. Somebody was just asking about 55 communities and that they just wanted us to drop some names. 55places.com is one of them. There's a couple others that if you, and you have to remember every area is kind of different, but if you have a great place for us to go for 55 communities, go ahead and drop it in that chat.
So you'll see, Heather, that they know what our community is. Thrive in the Village is home, don't worry about. So now we've got a walk-in bathtub, a shower that doesn't really have a step, and then a lift to get up the steps. So they target these sponsored ads around the community that you're in. So if you're not in a 55 plus community, you can target obviously to family communities because you can sell whatever you want to sell, but just remember who your audience is that you're talking to on Nextdoor. And always look at this. If it says to anyone, look and see where they're at, because it may be Texas. You don't need to be, you
Here's,
don't need to be asking, answering stuff in Texas if you're not there.
here's a question. So like on Facebook and Instagram, you can target your audience where, you know, I mean, obviously kind of like this neighborhood or whatever, but you can target your audience on an age group in certain places on Facebook and Instagram. Are you
Not
able
anymore.
to target that in Nextdoor, or is it just one blanket group?
Nextdoor is your target.
Right, yes. Nextdoor is,
Saying like if that demographic, so for instance, the people that are seeing all of those demographic, the grab bars and the bathroom and all of that, everybody that's seeing that, typically on Instagram and Facebook, the only people that are going to see this Leaf Home Safety Solutions are people that's only in their demographics.
well,
So-
but Heather, the Facebook does not allow you to target by age anymore. There was a discrimination lawsuit and that was taken away. You cannot target via age on Facebook and Instagram anymore. That went away. So, and no, your neighbor, who you're talking to should be your immediate neighborhood, or like I said, watching where these folks are coming from. This is in the villages, not that far away, but you don't want to be answering somebody that's 50 miles away from you unless you just want to answer the question for the fun of it. It doesn't make any sense. So here, you know, talking about cart fixer and golf carts, big topic here. Call my battery go-to guy, Simon's golf cart batteries. So that, it's very organic. It's not, it's a passive way to get leads, but I will tell you that I've got a bunch. But I've also got a lot of hate mail, I'll call it. Because I'm a lead, people don't like that we take stuff down. So that's why I said, if you don't like politics, stay out of the lead side of things. Well, we've been sitting here, we've got 2 more reported posts. So
Yeah.
it never ends.
And that's
People have
why I'm
full-blown
not a lead
arguments
anymore.
on here.
Yeah, it never ends in the villages. I don't know what your neighborhood is. It may be calmer. Right here, I think aliens are controlling the climate narrative. Thank goodness he posted in a politics group, because that wouldn't last any time at all on the regular general section. Auto body shop recommendations from local, nobody's answered it. And they posted it to 43 neighborhoods, which is good. Nobody's answered it. So I'll pop in there later on and I'll post on there. And I don't always try to be first. I always read the post and then I add a different recommendation. Does that make sense?
I have a quick question. So can you, when you comment, can you comment as your business account, or does it have to be your personal account? So do they, when you add the comment, do they see that you're a real estate agent?
They're going to say you're a real estate agent because of your profile under your personal. Like I said, Facebook, we don't use a business profile. People don't look at your business page very often. Same
Right.
thing here. They're going to look at your profile if they say, who in the heck is this Debbie? And they'll click on it. So if I click on Sharon, she's not in my neighborhood, but look, recent activity, recommendations 3 hours ago, October, August, July. She's not very active overall, but here's her recommendation she's done over the time. And it keeps a running thing. You can also put in here your emergency contacts. She's got 2 emergency contacts in here. I don't even know if I have mine in there because I seriously doubt somebody's going to come to Nextdoor to find out who to call. They're going to look on my phone first. But no, you're always going to post under your personal profile.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
So I'm trying to find, since I don't use it this way, there it is. So another thing that is in Nextdoor are groups. Let's see if it'll come up for me.
Hold on a second, Debbie. We got a question.
Okay.
Yvette?
Hi. I'm kind of new to the group. It's nice to be here. I
Welcome.
do have just a quick question, again, going back to the issue with the address. I'm just wondering, especially now that Debbie has mentioned, sometimes she gets some hate mail. So what I'm concerned about is I downloaded the app. It's asking me for my personal address. It wasn't enough just to put the zip code and the street name. They want your actual address. And that made me a little nervous because how do I know that some angry person isn't going to come down knocking on my door? Like, is our
So-
personal address protected? Like, how do we know that?
So you can put your profile as only, I could have Debbie G, the letter G as my last name. They've recently implemented that. In our neighborhood, because we're so huge, in my personal neighborhood, nobody could see the actual street number, but they could see the street address, meaning the street I live on, but not the street number. So that is protected. When I say hate mail, it comes right through here with the messages. People will scream and yell and carry on, but it's because I'm a lead. It's not because I answered a question. So I wouldn't worry about it, but if you want to be on Nextdoor, you have to put your physical address because number one, it's GPS based. And number two, most likely they're going to send you a postcard to verify that you're at that address. Because what they don't want is for Handyman Joe to pop into every Nextdoor and advertise his handyman services.
Okay, I see. Okay, thank you.
So groups, do not create a group that says real estate group. It'll get canceled in 3 seconds. Here's ones I haven't joined. So it wants me to, join them. Well, I don't know about you, but I haven't spoke Italian any time in my lifetime, so that's not happening. So we got lots of them. Here's people from Cleveland and its suburbs. I got 180 members. Don't belong, I'm not in Cleveland. So here's Village of Hawkins. It's only got 3. Well, they didn't get off the ground very well, but there are tons of groups that you can create. But if you love to do, let's call it scrapbooking, I don't know, create a group called scrapbooking. If you like to do keto is one of our biggest groups on here. Teach people how to do keto. You'll be the hero in a heartbeat. Teach people, fighting depression. Whatever your love is, create a group for what your love is and be visible that way. Here's Mahjong people, passive income, women veterans. This, and I think is not a local group, by the way, but all these groups are out here. What you see will be totally different than what I have here. Here's gym rats. So if you love to work out, create a group. Who likes to work out? What's your routine? What's your tips? So create groups around your, what I call love, yoga. And when you click in here, I don't know who's really active on this. Because I'm not in that group, I can't see what it is, but you'll see that it did say all of the villages, anyone outside could still request to join. If you create a group, you want to keep it for yourself only, for your neighborhood only. So, because that's where you'll start getting people that are going to not be the people you want to talk to, because they're not your neighbors, or it's not a place that you're marketing to. So healthy living. November, they haven't been too active. They've only got 9 members. So that's another way to get very visible, is by creating a group. But do not create a group. We had one that created a group called Best Handyman. Well, guess what? The guy that created it was a handyman, and he got shut down in about 3 seconds. So you can't do that. Create a group based on your specialty. Singles group for widowers. Keep the villages beautiful. Blah, 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 blah. And you see,
Debbie,
I haven't joined them.
so there's a question. Can you confirm that Nextdoor allows recommendations, but under no circumstances marketing of any kind unless it's paid, correct?
For business, real estate, correct.
Yeah.
So occasionally somebody will say, who's the best realtor? Have your favorite neighbors that will put your name out there for you. Have your favorite customers that you sold to in your Nextdoor area. Text them, hey, somebody just asked who's the best realtor. They can put Debbie's the best one, but I can't. Do I private message them? I sure do. But most of the time, they don't want to hear from somebody private message, because that's almost like Big Brother watching, if you know what I mean. They want some true recommendations. What else can we answer?
I'm good.
So to me, the groups, and I've got a bunch of groups that I control. Politics was out of hand on my Nextdoor. I created the first politics. Well, if you know me, I don't like politics. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, green, purple, or blue. I don't like it. I don't talk about it. But I didn't want it in my general section. So I created a politics group. And I'm the best monitor for it because I don't like any politics. So if you start calling each other names, the post is gone. And when you're a member or you create the group, you're considered an admin. So you only have to worry about your group. You don't have to worry about what's happening as a lead. So it's totally different. So what else?
If
Any
you
other
create a
questions?
group, if you create a group, are you able to just post about it to say, hey, I created this group, come join, or do you get in trouble for that? If it's not anything related to business, can you say that? Can you say, hey, I created a group about keto, come join?
Right. Yes, you can. So there's actually an invite. I don't even know how to get to my groups that I have. I was trying to find it this way, but there's an invite button, and that goes into the general section that said, hey, I just created a group for keto. If you're interested, come over, let's share ideas.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Because the keto group here is very large. Here's a new thing they started. I'm not sure the purpose. I'm not connecting with anybody because I don't need to, but these are people that have interacted with me in some way, and I don't know how they determine that. And you can connect. Who knows what that means? It's, kind of like being a friend, is my opinion. I don't know what the purpose of that is at this point, but it's the thing that, I haven't dealt with that, and I've had a couple people want to become connected, and I'm not going to say no because I don't want to tick somebody off, but it's the thing that that's where it's at. Businesses, you'll see you can get hearts. So when you create your business, if your neighbor says, like, here's Katie, she's near us, she's gotten 4 recommendations. So if I click on hers, let's see if it'll come up for me. we should see who recommended her. But that's how you want to get some recommendations going. So she put a pretty picture. This is her business profile. She's closed till 8 a.m. Here's my story. She put 4 lines about her story, and that's it, and her website. So I'm trying to see where it shows. Oh, here's the 4 loves. Let's see what they said. Oh, it wants me to do it. So no. I thought it would show me what they had said about her, but I don't see that on here anymore. Nextdoor is really bad about changing things, just like Facebook, just like Instagram, just like TikTok and everybody else.
How did you
They're
get there, Debbie?
They're in movement all the time.
How did you get to this category?
I went under businesses,
Okay.
and then if I wanted to find realtors, I can search for realtors, real estate, whatever. Here's the ones. Here's Randy. He's got his full address. He's nowhere near me. He's made that decision to show the world. That is his home address. There's no way in the world that I'd show my entire address. This is Katie's work address. This is her home address. You don't want to be showing your complete home address on a Nextdoor. No need to. So,
Debbie,
yeah.
I'm wondering if they even know that their address is showing. How do we know for sure? I guess on your profile, right? Maybe it's on their profile. They should know.
So on settings, there's a whole lot of privacy stuff. Control who sees your full name, anyone, because all others will view your name as Debbie G. So if I click on that, nearby neighborhoods, your neighborhood only my connections. So there's where the connections is coming in. So, you know, I think I'm connected to 2 people. They'd see my name full, otherwise they'd see it as Debbie G. Well, I'm letting anybody. Who can see your profile picture? Who can see your profile? Who can discover you? Well, I'm a realtor. Everybody has my stuff anyway. So who can tag you? This, yes or no? Well, you get a notification when somebody tags you, just like you do in Facebook. So who can message you directly? Anyone. I don't sync my address book because guess what? As realtors, we got tons, and most of mine are not even remotely in this area. But it's the same thing under your business profile. You have notifications on the profiles. I have pretty much everything turned off on notifications because I don't have time. As Donald knows, I hate email. So I don't need more notifications in my email. I allow Nextdoor to, but I don't have them email me. I'll get my notification up here under notifications, but I don't get anything via email.
Any other questions? We've got a minute left. We want to honor everybody's time tonight.
Yeah, I have another question. Debbie, you showed or you shared some information about a free mail. You were clicking and you said something about they'll send mail for you for free.
If you're a lead.
Oh, okay.
If you're a lead, I can go up here, right here, and invite people. And I can send out invitation letters. We'll mail them for free, meaning Nextdoor will mail them.
Okay.
And this and I actually do on the laptop because it's easier because you have to click. No, I don't want to do that. I just want them to show me the map and invitation letters. I've got 97 that's outstanding at this point, but you can click which houses you want to send it to.
Okay.
So, but you have to be a lead to do that.
Okay.
So.
And when you say lead, do you mean somebody who created a group and you're the lead of the group?
Yes, so if this was a neighborhood subdivision near you, it's called Village of Sunset Point. It's
Uh,
got 926 addresses in this neighborhood. So that's like a subdivision in most people's city, in my opinion. The
mhm.
neighborhood I lived in Orlando had 953 homes. But I created this group called Village of Sunset Point,
Okay.
and I can just do a post that is strictly to the people that's in my group. So if I want to say, hey, I'm starting a walking club in Sunset Point, who wants to join me? I can send it strictly out to my neighborhood only.
Mm.
And otherwise, I could send it out to 49 neighborhoods. I can send it out to any, but you need to remember anyone's pretty dangerous. I don't like the word anyone. Anyone know what happened on Buena Vista? Well, who in Orlando is going to know where Buena Vista is except Disney?
Yeah.
And that's what they're going to see, but they don't realize it's in villages. This should have been to village neighborhoods only. So people don't understand the word anyone.
Yeah. And how far is the map when you join and it goes by your address? And you have to input all your information. Is it by zip code, or is there the square footage, or how wide is your map for your neighborhood? Or how far?
If it's already created and you're in an established neighborhood, they already know how many households are in that subdivision.
Oh,
So
okay.
my subdivision technically is 926 households.
Oh, okay.
926 physical addresses are in my neighborhood.
Will I
If
see
it's not,
that, or do I need to be a lead to see that how many households are in my group?
so right here you see Village of Sunset Point.
Mhm.
Anybody would see that. If you're in the Village of Sunset Point, if I just want to see all the posts that are in Sunset Point, there was 9 posts this week.
Mhm.
Here's the recommendations. This lady, she's going to drive me crazy. I just bought a TCL Roku TV. I just bought a Roku TV. I fell and I need recommendations, and she puts it 15 times. But these are all the posts that were in my neighborhood. Handsome again. Thanks, Vera. Our girl. You know, if you've got a dog, start a dog group. You would be amazed how many people, cat group, whatever it is. Groups are very popular for what I call special things. I created one called Fun Things to Do in and around the villages. And when COVID was happening, we tried to think of all the places you could go outside without being near people. And we had a real good time with that one.
Hey, Debbie, I'm going to just interrupt you because we're after 8 o'clock and I got to jump out. But I want to let everybody know that next week we've got Bernard Abloa. I believe that's how you say his last name. But he happens to be the director of marketing for commercial real estate at EXP. So he's going to talk about the commercial market and the senior market. And that's who's talking next week. But I've got to go. And Debbie, Donald, I'm going to say goodbye. I hope you guys have a good night. Finishing up.
Yep, you too.
I think we've covered as much. If you have any questions, you can, best way to reach me is always text me. So look me up in Workplace, find my cell phone and text me. It's always the best way to reach me, but I'll help you.
Yeah, best way to reach everybody is right through Facebook. Facebook chats, perhaps, as well.
Right. The Seniors Network on Facebook.
On Facebook. So thanks again, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you, Debbie. Always a wealth of knowledge that you share. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, everybody. Thank you.